Hello everybody, welcome back to Foreman's Fouls Media, and we have our third Woj bomb of the summer, of the off-season. Chris Paul is traded for Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, a 2027 second round pick, and a 2030 first round pick that is going to be have protections on it, which we don't exactly know of yet. This is a huge trade for both teams. It's a weird trade. It's a trade I don't personally like, but it's definitely we're not gonna call this a blockbuster, but it's definitely a Woj bomb. We can call it that. Woj was the first reporter, I believe, even though NBA Central, like 14 minutes before the trade happened, they said that the Warriors are actively looking to trade Jordan Poole. So, let's start with the Warriors, the contenders of the trade, the Warriors side of things. I don't like this trade at all for them. They traded a young Jordan Poole, who just signed a huge extension with them, for a, 37, 38-year-old Chris Paul, who probably has one more year left in the league, and obviously will come off the bench behind Curry and try to help them contend, but I don't think this is who they should have traded Jordan Poole for. I think they should have traded Jordan Poole for big depth. I don't know where that would have come from, but Looney was really the only center on that team in playoff time. Like, it felt like he was the only guy putting in active minutes. Obviously, Draymond as the small ball center, but their big depth was horrendous during the playoffs. That's part of the reason Anthony Davis absolutely killed them during the second round. And obviously, Chris Paul is not going to help with any of that. He's going to be a great playmaker off the bench. I don't know how exactly it's going to work with him and Curry on the court. Obviously, the first thing I thought about when this trade happened was Chris Paul and Steve Kerr's history, because we know Chris Paul, there's that one meme where he's smiling, laughing at Steve Kerr, then he turns his face and he's all serious. But, Chris Haynes said that the Warriors will not waive Chris Paul, and he's gonna help them try to make another championship run. And it's gonna be very interesting seeing the dynamic between Chris Paul and Stephen Curry, when they're on the court together, how the team runs. I assume it's gonna run the exact same way it did before. The Warriors' play style is unique, but it's smooth and it's worked. Obviously, it's worked since 2015. It's worked for nearly 10 years, nearly a decade. So I don't expect Chris Paul to make any big changes to the Warriors' offense. Obviously, one thing that happened was when Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors, their offense changed a lot. We know they won 2 championships with him, but really when you have a team with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, you have to expect to win a championship with them. So that's why even though he disrupted the flow of their offense, they still won championships because of how talented that team was. But Chris Paul is not going to disrupt the flow of this Warriors offense. It's getting Curry open, it's getting Klay open, it's having Draymond at the helm of the offense, playmaking, distributing, great defenders from Draymond also, assuming that he comes back, obviously. But yeah, it's a weird trade, and now we're going to look at the Wizards side of things. I don't like this trade for them either. They just traded for Tyus Jones, who I thought was going to be their number 1 point guard. I mean, you still bring Jordan Poole, have him as the 2. Undersized backcourt, of course, but should still be offensively good. Defensively is a different story, but offensively this should be a good backcourt. This is going to change a lot of what they do in this draft. At first, looking at this draft, I thought that they were going to be in line to pick another guard, whether that was going to be Anthony Black, Kobe Buffkin, Cason Wallace, not likely Nick Smith, but you never really know, considering he has a pretty high ceiling. So, are they now going to steer away from drafting a point guard tonight? I don't think so. I think they could still very well draft a point guard. Most likely Anthony Black, because of how versatile he is from the 1 to the 3 position. But yeah, if they plan to run Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole as the 1 and 2 going into next season, I don't mind the fit. But what I do mind is that they're throwing 4 years, a huge contract into Jordan Poole, when I don't feel like they should have anybody with um with the length and the money of that contract on their team. I feel like this team should be in the midst of rebuilding, not rebuilding around Jordan Poole. Having a great distributor, a great point guard, a guy that can run your offense very well, and Tyus Jones, I thought was a great trade for them. But now having someone who needs the ball in his hands to be effective, who is not going to, he's a great passer. He's a flashy passer, which makes us feel he's a better passer than he really is for Jordan Poole. So him in that offense, I don't really like, because I like Deni Avdija playing off the ball. He's in himself is a great distributor, playing the power forward, small forward position. But looking at what this Wizards team could look like this next season, in terms of starting lineup, I'm not going to look that deep into the rotation. It's probably going to be Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert, maybe, if they draft Taylor Hendricks, or if Jarace Walker somehow falls to 8, which it could happen, so I'm not going to say somehow. He's probably moving Deni Avdija to the 3 and playing either Hendricks or Walker at the 4. But yeah, let's just say they end up drafting Wallace, Buffkin, Nick Smith, which is not going to happen, or Anthony Black, and have him play the backup point guard. It's probably looking like, yeah, like I said, Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Kispert, Avdija, and at the 5 we're probably looking at a Daniel Gafford. Obviously, this team's in the midst of rebuilding. Don't really expect them to win any more than 30 games this upcoming season. But it's interesting to see if their draft plans change at all, considering they just traded for 2 guards in the span of less than, 15 hours? They just traded for 2 guards in the span of 15 hours, when we all thought they were going to be looking at drafting a lead guard coming to next season. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and it's going to be very interesting to see how these 2 teams run next season, how Chris Paul, how he gels with the rest of that Warriors core, how him and Steve Kerr's relationship is. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.